today I'm going to show you how to make Slimming World Pula Rice. Please tell me if this view is okay and the image in the comments below. All ingredients are placed in the section below, so please have them ready at hand. I'm making 2 pounds of chicken thigh boneless pilau rice, and that's going to serve about 20 people. So I'm adding in 2 medium-sized onions. You can do 3, it'll just give it more flavour anyway. And what I do is I get 60 mils, which comes up to 4 tablespoons of oil, and 4 tablespoons of oil, if I've counted right, is 24 sins. But if you divide that by 20, it comes to about 1.2 sins. Still, I don't use all of it, I use a little bit at a time. And the key thing here is what is different to normal pilau rice, a little bit in, is that with this you have to just constantly mix it. That's the only difference really. Because it's got such less oil in, you have to constantly mix it and watch that it doesn't burn. Other than that, it's quite similar. And with this rice, I usually put it on the side and I can have it with like whatever I want. I can have it on its own, I can have it with a bit of chicken, and it fills you up and it has hardly any sins. So just going to mix this around and put some salt in it. Again, because it's 2 pound rice, I put in 4 tablespoons of salt. And I'm going to put it on a lower heat first to let the onions sweat out so that they don't stick. This is little tricks that I've learned as I've made them like numerous amount of times now. So on a low heat they'll sweat out, and then I can use its own water to cook it in. Okay, so it's been about 2-3 minutes. It's starting to sweat out, so that's fine. I can put it on a medium heat. I'm not going to put it on too much of a high heat. And this rice won't be too brown in colour. If anything, it'll be extremely light. But that doesn't matter. The taste will be exactly the same. It's just I'm trying my best not to let the onions burn, so I'm trying to cook it on a medium heat. So I'll tell you how long it took me. And I keep stirring it. I'm literally doing cooking as I go along around the kitchen so I can keep an eye on it. So just wanted to show you this. I kept my eye off it for about 2 minutes, and see it starts to stick really quickly. So if that happens, lower it down a little bit. That's why I don't put the oil in straight away. A little bit of oil. Let it come off the bottom. And then I'll put it back on the medium heat. I forgot to mention, I already have the rice soaking in water, because the longer it soaks in the water, the easier it is and the nicer it is and finer it is. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. They are kind of done now. It's been about 15 minutes, and but as you can see, one thing about this Slimming World recipe is it's really going to kill off your pan. But as long as when you wash it later, fairly liquid, boiling hot water, leave it for a bit and take it off. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it on a low heat for about 2 minutes. Then I can see if I can take some of it off, because it's nice flavouring. It is actually quite nice flavouring, but I just don't want it to stick on the pan too much. Okay, so I'll try to take a little bit off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the garam masala. So if it's 2 pounds of rice, it's 2 tablespoons of garam masala. Bismillah. And what I will say is, if your rice tastes different to other people's and you're making exactly like this, it's just the garam masala that you use. Some use garam masala from a packet, some use whole spice and grind it up, and some use everything individually, like cloves individually, cinnamon individually, black cardamom individually, and then grind it up. So don't worry too much about that. The general thing is the rice will taste nice. I'm just going to knock this around. Bismillah. Around the pan, and see, hardly any oil I've used. I've actually left 20 mils. I can put a little bit more in. That will be hardly any. And because I'm going to put boneless thigh chicken in. Now, one thing to remember about boneless thigh is always get your butcher to take the fat off if you're making it for Slimming World, and then it's no sins at all. I'm going to mix this around for about a minute or so, and then I'll add in the boneless chicken thigh. Okay, so first I'm going to add in, before I add in the chicken thigh, is 1 tomato, 2 green chilies, and like I said to you, because they're slit and they're whole, they're not going to add any more spice to it. and 2 cloves of garlic. Put them in and mix them around. Mix them around for a bit. But again, because there's hardly any oil in there, I might as well just chuck in the chicken thigh now. First and foremost, I'm going to put it on a low heat, mix it around, put it on a low heat and cover it, just to let its own juices. You can see that, that's so brilliant. It's already taken off some of the mixture. So I'm going to let its juices run through, and that'll help it not to stick to the pan. So I'm going to give it about 2-3 minutes covered. Okay, it's been 5 minutes and you can see the juices have come through. So now I can use these to get rid of all this around here, because it's lovely flavour that can go into your chicken. Because you're not putting that much oil into your rice, you want all the flavour in there. I don't know about you, but if I get a good, nice, tasty rice, I can have that for a good 3-4 days without any problem. See, everything's coming off. And I'm going to cook this on a high heat, well, medium to high heat, for about, until the chicken goes brown. Okay, so it's been about 3-4 minutes. And as you can see, the nice and brown chicken is lovely and brown and lovely and moist. That means it's got lots of nice juices in there. I'm going to add in the water now and try to bring it to the boil. So now I've put in 1 pound is like 1 pot of rice. I've told you this many times. I use these pots. So I've used 2 of these pots, so I'm going to use 4 of these pots of water. And I'm just going to let it come back to the boil, which it has quite quickly because I use kettle water. And I'm just going to add the rice in now. Bismillah. Put the rice in, just mixing it through. And again, I put a bit of drops of lemon juice. If you don't have lemon juice, it's fine, honestly. I just put lemon juice in a little bit just to let it stay separate, but there's enough, well, there's not enough, is there? Oil or grease in there to let the rice separate anyway. But yeah, so I'm waiting for it to go up to the boil, and then what I'm going to do is place it on a low to medium heat and wait for it to cook. So it's starting to boil, so I'm going to put it on a low to medium heat, not too low, low to medium heat, and then I'll cover it and I'll check on it after about 10 minutes. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. Lower the heat, and there is a little bit of water on the side. What I'm going to do now, put carrier bags over it. Yeah, so place a carrier bag over it like this, bismillah. And then I'm going to cover it on a low heat just for about 4 or 5 minutes, depending on how much water is on the side. I'll show you what the rice looks like. It's a nice brown colour actually, and they're nice and long and fluffy. I use extra long grain rice. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to, because if I left them here for a few days, they'll just squash up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, bismillah, put it onto, spread it onto the tray. Show you. Just spreading out onto the tray. If you've got a lot of rice, preferably 2 trays, so that they dry up, or they cool down, sorry, all separated. If they cool down all separated, you can pop them on a box, put them in the fridge, and you can actually eat them over 3 or 4 days, because they'll be separated. They won't go into a little mush. And there you are, lovely Slimming World Pula Rice, 1 cent each, if that.